Hey, welcome to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. I am Billy.
Hey, I'm Joe. I'm staying alive.
Is that a big we need to do soundtracks. Is that a hint for Bee Gees songs?
Uh, 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 that's interesting that you say that. The Foo Fighters covered the Bee Gees. It's outstanding.
It's great that you say that because we have a great show for you today because we have the top 20 plus one of the Beatles' greatest hits. And Joe and I were just talking just a second ago, and we'll get to other stuff that we want to talk about here in just a minute. But we were just talking about and we're not getting paid for this, but we were just talking about the Paul McCartney 3-2-1 thing or a series on Hulu. And what do you
Yeah,
think about that so far? Or how many episodes are you in there, Joe?
I'm getting ready to go into chapter 5, and it's basically McCartney's a great interview inside itself. But when you team him up with Rick Rubin, the superstar music producer who lets Paul go wherever he wants to go, it's really great. It's a really great documentary that I've never seen ever.
Rick Rubin did some great stuff with the late great Johnny Cash.
Right, and he put Neil Diamond back on the map.
And don't judge me, but Andrew Dice Clay
On the Def Jam label, of course.
Exactly, man. So and my wife was sitting there watching it, going, "Who is this guy?" And I did that
Yeah,
for just a little while because I didn't read the synopsis or I didn't catch up with it on the internet, because everything you see is true is on the internet. So I finally figured it out, and it's a great series.
did you see that? Steve Jobs was the same way, but Rick Rubin was barefoot the whole time.
Yes, he was. Yes. My wife goes, "Who is this bum?" So sorry, Rick Rubin. And I forgot to tell y'all, I've been in Texas too long, that Joe Carney is the host of Indie's Local Flavor. You can find that on iTunes. You can find that probably on any podcast platform that you follow or can find. So I apologize for not introducing you, Joe Carney from Indie's Local Flavor.
That's okay. No problem.
So we've had a couple musical deaths this week. Why don't you cover the one you probably know a little bit more than I do? Because I saw it, I read it on it, and just go from there.
One of the big death metal members passed recently. Very popular band. My daughter has been playing them as of late. Joey Jordison of Slipknot was only 46 when he died, so he was one of the founding members. And there's a place in Fountain Square. They have a it's a heavy metal themed bar, and all their sandwiches are heavy metal bands. So there's the Led Zeppelin, and then there's the Black Sabbath, and the Black Sabbath's really hot, and then there's the Metallica and the Pantera sandwich. So it's pretty cool.
Would you put Megadeth in that?
Oh yeah,
you would,
definitely.
Yeah.
And one of the guitarists for Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, the lead singer, was in Metallica. So yes.
Is the Emerson Theater still around there in Indianapolis?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So and 46 years old. Do you own any of the albums? Do you is there a favorite song, or it's just the genre?
I don't own any of their music. It's death metal, so it's like I'm gonna let you down. No, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna make you die. That just doesn't. That's not my thing. So, and I respect I respect the genre, but no, I'm a little more upbeat, and I prefer a little more upbeat in my life.
Yeah, and besides the gentleman there from Slipknot, we also lost Dusty Hill from ZZ Top.
Yeah, that 72. So I mean, he wasn't
A spring chicken, but
right, but people think of them as rock and roll, which they were, but they were also a huge blues influence as well. So that was a huge surprise for me.
The Eliminator album was something that I owned, and I remember opening that up. And number one, they didn't have the lyrics printed on the inner sleeve because I wanted to know what Legs was all about, but there was no internet at the time. And they had a thing where you could join the ZZ Top fan club for $99 for a lifetime.
No.
And you'd get that key ring as your $99 within your $99. I looked at it, thought about it, saw it. My parent, this is in the 80s, so I'm sorry, everybody. But it was very interesting. And, he died in his sleep. We'll probably find more information out about why he passed away. But what a huge loss, and what a great tribute a lot of people are saying about this guy as a person, as a musician. And it's we get older, we die.
Yeah.
It's a question that we can do a different podcast or a different show on.
Yeah, I mean, all the classic artists are hitting the end of the all the classic artists are hitting the end of the timeline, I guess.
Kid Rock, there's just so many people who were influenced by him, and it's like I said, this is a different podcast for a different time on why, or why we are where we are on our timeline, why we're still alive, why a lot of artists lost their lives at age 27, which we could go into, but
sure.
So what else you got, Joe?
I got some sports news. So I know you don't follow the NBA very much, but the big news from the NBA is, kids, this is not gonna go. This is not gonna go. This is not gonna go. But we'll see what happens. Russell Westbrook from the Washington Wizards goes to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and another player I don't remember their name of. So,
what's interesting? I told my wife this the other day, is that at one point in time, I could tell you a player on every NHL hockey team, every NFL football team, every Major League Baseball team, and so on and so forth. But I don't know what age I lost interest in all of those, and I can't name you a player from every team. So the NBA has lost a lot of fans for a lot of different reasons, but the Westbrook thing is a emoji. But I just don't know, because right now I couldn't name you a hockey player at all.
I couldn't name it.
So and the NBA, just because of George Hill and his affiliation with Broad Ripple High School and IUPUI Jaguars and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of sad. I know it's just like Dusty Hill passing away, the guy from Slipknot passing away. We all get older and stuff like that, and we all have different. I think a little thing on my thing. Oh no, it's hide. But it's, I guess, part of life.
Yeah. Was George Hill with the Bucks when they got the ring?
No. George Hill was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. And, he's a, I don't know. In baseball, they used to call him a journeyman, or also in baseball, they'd call him a utility player. But,
Right.
he's still doing well. But that's another topic for another day, just like we were talking about earlier with the passing of the guy from Slipknot and Dusty Hill from, as my dad would call him, ZZ Tots.
Can I have some extra tots with my burger, please?
That's what my dad would say. Hey, who is that? And I said, ZZ Top. Oh, hey, you listen to ZZ Tots? And, as a pubescent, you were looking at legs and give me all your loving and Sharp Dressed Man, and you're watching it on, I'm going to roll out something you don't know about, but Friday night videos. And
I watched the crap out of that.
And MTV.
I watched the crap out of that.
And when they had real videos, but like I said, different topics for a different podcast. So anything else going on, or you want to hit right into
I've got a couple more things.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame game is on August 5th. So preseason coming up. That's the Cowboys and the Steelers at 8 p.m. on Fox. I'll give you $100, Billy, if you can name me the backup quarterback for the Colts.
Andrew Luck.
I'm sorry, I win. It's a Jacob Eason. Now, I don't know if he's related to the old Tony Eason, who used to play for the Patriots. But the Colts backup quarterback is Jacob Eason, and why I bring that up is Carson Wentz had a foot injury, and they say it's not season ending, but it sounds season. ESPN's reporting it as season ending, but the Colts is saying it's not season ending. So to me, it sounds pretty season ending. And I know you're not a big video game player, but take a guess what Carson Wentz's rating was on the new Madden game.
80?
Lower.
Wow, 76.
72.
Wow. That's why that's why on all those games I make my own player and put me at 100.
Well, imagine that. And, so if you need a fix, here's my fix. And let me add one really quick. Crap.
One thing. That's the fix. One thing leads to another. Friday night videos also. While Joe gathers his thoughts.
Here's your possible backups. Okay, so Irsay and Ballard, don't be stupid. Do not be stupid. We do not want another Curtis Painter year. Okay, when Manning hurt his neck, Curtis Painter came in, and it was dreadful, like 2-14 or whatever. So here's your possible backups. Marcus Mariota used to play with Tennessee, now with the Vegas Raiders. Possibility. Jimmy Garoppolo wants to start again from the Niners. And I know the list is thin. Joe Flacco could possibly be available. People are talking about Nick Foles coming back. And Pat McAfee was the third quarterback for the Colts when Luck was there. He was the scout quarterback. He said he'd play. And I don't care how much money you have to spend. I don't care if you have to give up a defensive person, but I think you could break the bank and give him like a $30 million one-year deal, and Phillip Rivers would consider coming back. And Matt Hasselbeck was asked, and he said, quote, on social media, "Sorry, I'm at Chipotle." And he got sick the last time he was at Chipotle before a game. So there you have it.
Is Jeff George still available? Is Mike Pagel still available? Is Gary Hogaboom still available? I bet you Art Schleister is still available.
I think he's still serving time.
How about Herman? From Carmel. Let's
Mark
bring them
Herman.
all back.
I don't think Mark Herman can lift his arm.
I mean, nothing against all those quarterbacks, but
no.
that the Colts boggle my mind.
Me too.
It wouldn't surprise me that Deshaun Watson takes some reps with the Colts. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just boggled and just with the NFL. Sorry.
That's now. Is it just me, Billy, or did the Colts totally force this Wentz thing? Everybody was saying he's injury prone. Why are you guys doing this? You need to get one in the draft, but they forced this Carson Wentz thing.
Totally forced. Totally
okay.
Totally what instead of WTF, WTH, what the hell is going on? And it's once again, it's the NFL. So I'm not, but there could be a Kurt Warner out there. Get somebody that's sacking groceries, and they may take over from like a Trent Green who was at St. Louis, and all of a sudden you've got a Super Bowl ring. So forced.
Yeah. Nutty.
Yep.
Totally nutty.
Top 20 Beatles songs?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to start?
Am I going first?
No, I will go first.
Okay.
There's a huge library, and I want to do Paul McCartney songs, John Lennon songs, The Who soundtracks. You just, I don't know why we came up with the Beatles. Probably because the Hulu thing, 3-2-1 with Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin. But coming in at number 21 is Drive My Car.
Okay. That's not on my list.
Also, we have talked about in previous shows, neither is My Kiss. So maybe we didn't need to do Hall & Oates songs too.
Yeah, your Kiss is not on your list, of course. So I'm going to preface my picks. Un momento, por favor.
No problemo. Me comprendo. If you're going to put on a mask, though, you're going to scare the crap out of our audience. or take off the mask that you have on.
Oh, I'll just say my favorite joke in elementary school, your mama. But
anyway. Yours. The favorite comeback. Oh man.
This is most of my picks.
Wow. Is that 64 to 68 or 62 to 64?
That's 64 to 70, I think.
Okay. So what you got? What is it coming in?
And then that's from the special.
Yes.
Which I picked up yesterday at the local record store, which was cool, but it was the strangest thing. It's also a cafe. And I ring up and check out and everything, and they say, "Do you want to leave a tip?" And I'm like, "No." So I'm like, "Okay." So there's a bit of the story behind my number 21 pick. When I was at Ball State, in my English classes, my general English classes, I wrote a anti-censorship paper because everybody was trying to censor music at that time because of Ice-T's metal band Body Count. And I said, if this song would have been released today, it wouldn't have gotten made, and it's Maxwell's Silver Hammer.
Oh, very, very interesting. And when you say that kind of stuff, I'm thinking Dee Snider.
Right.
Tipper Gore.
Mm-hmm.
That's all good stuff, and it's interesting. That's an interesting choice. So, coming in at number 20, which may be higher on your list, and Michael Jackson does a great cover of this song, and Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. We could do a whole show on that.
Mm-hmm.
But Come Together.
Yeah, that's higher, but yeah, that's a great song.
Redone by Michael Jackson, redone by Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And, I was looking the other day at my feet to see if I had toe jam. It's actually a lyric. I guess it's got toe jam football. So is there a ball in my foot and I have toe jam? Is it like jam you spread on your bread when you have peanut butter and jelly? What the hell, man? I'd like to ask Paul, who came up with toe jam?
I guess I heard something, and I don't know if it's factual, but I heard that in that song, what those abstract lyrics that they're singing about is the Beatles. It's about the characteristics of, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. So there you go. Here comes old flat top. Yeah, that's
Move it on slowly.
Yeah. So my number 20 is I'm pretty sure it was a McCartney song. And then Lennon would come along and put his tag on it. And it's have to admit it's getting better all the time. Can't get no worse, getting better. So
wow. And we'll go back and forth with these songs and you'll be like, oh crap, I forgot about that song. Or songs that you remember or forgot, or songs that you forgot but you remember, like our previous show.
Yeah, we did that one.
So my number 19 is a controversial song because I think they play it, but I heard it on Q95 all the time with the Bob and Tom show, and It's Birthday. And so I don't know what the legalities got into it, or you can't use it on the radio, or royalties, but do 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 do.
It's your birthday.
Do 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 do.
Happy birthday to you.
Do 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 do.
Which is the Showbiz Pizza song. Gonna have a good time.
Oh man, I think I just got COVID thinking about that.
Jumping into the vat of balls.
Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. We'll move along until your next pick. But Birthday.
Yeah, that's the Showbiz Pizza song, baby. So that's why all the other restaurants can't sing Happy Birthday to You, because the Beatles own it. So they have to do the, Happy Birthday, whatever. So my next song's really personal. My mom's current pastor, huge Beatles guy. Every Easter Sunday morning for the early service, he sings Here Comes the Sun every year.
Do 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 do.
So
go ahead. I actually think I may have that higher, but continue.
So I'm talking with him. It's it's a birthday celebration. I'm talking with him. I'm like, hey, can we do this little song? And it's like, sure. So me and my pastor sang, will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 94?
Oh, that's nice.
But that was for my grandma. So it's when I'm 64. So
right.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, a theme song or the opening credits to The World According to Garp?
Yes, I think so.
Or the end credits. So it's interesting that the songs we're coming up with that people are going, ooh, oh yeah, they did that one. So coming in at number 18 is And I Love Her.
Yeah, sure.
I know those first couple albums were a lot of covers and stuff like that. But, once you get introduced, depending upon your age and where you get introduced to the Beatles, there's a lot of stuff that you have to take in and you're like, oh, listen to, and depending upon how many times the radio plays it, what station you're listening to, if your parents play it or bought it or play it on the record, stuff like that.
Remind me before we're done to tell you my story about my aunt in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of songs from the Red album on my list, but I do have a couple, and the couple that I do have, I really, really like. So my number 18 is, I think it was their first movie. It's Help.
Oh, man. And I forgot about that one. And it's, like I said during the show, we're going to be like, oh, yeah. And I may have, I have it written down, but I don't have it in a numerical slot. But, my gosh. And we could do soundtracks. And that's a great song from a soundtrack if you include that.
Yeah.
I think that is a soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, cuckoo, cuckoo, I am the walrus.
Yes. Yep.
That comes in at number
walrus?
17 because of how unusual and heard it in college. And you're like, I need to go deeper into the deep cuts of the Beatles.
Who was the walrus?
If I'm Ringo?
No.
Okay. Pete Best?
No.
Get on a stool, have someone kick it out from underneath you, and hang yourself, Pete Best. And that's just my opinion, just because, it's like, nah.
Do you know the story about Pete Best and the anthology?
No.
He had 3 songs that he got music credit for on the anthology, and he was working in the London as a London postal carrier at the time, earned $3 million for those 3 songs and retired. So
would I.
Yes.
That's the best idea I've heard on the show, except going to Indy's Local Flavor or Keeping the Nostalgia Live show on YouTube.
Precisely. So I was surprised he sang this on his I'm surprised McCartney sang this on his live album, but I love this song, Yesterday.
You really disappoint me, man. Really disappoint me. Like I really disappoint you in some shows, man. I have that at number 3, man. That's just
that. Okay. I understand that.
Number 3. And at one point, I think that was number 1 of all time. And White Christmas by Bing Crosby was number 2. I know that it's changed, but
that's a great song. You can put that song anywhere. You can put that could be top 5 all day long, but
Yeah.
So
have you seen her standing there?
Yes, I have. And it's a nice experience.
I saw her standing there, comes in at number 16 for me, just because, playing on the radio, be it AM or FM, and those people who are younger than we are, look up the thing called the radio.
Yeah. My number 16, all 3 of these songs kind of have the same feeling for me. So it's 3 and 1. the Trinity. Here Comes the Sun, Good Day Sunshine, and Good Morning, Good Morning. So
there is great pick. Their catalog is so deep, and once again, like, oh man, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So Eleanor Rigby?
Oh, you disappoint me, man. You disappoint me. That's crap.
Well, I probably put that on my list yesterday.
Yeah, it's an easy game to play.
That's what you get for putting yesterday so low, Joe. Hey, I rhymed that time. You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay.
My next pick, I sang this song often when I was stressed out at the old office space. Nothing's gonna change my world across the universe.
This is like a top 20 or the Billy and Joe top 10 show. It's not Let Joe Sing Beatles song show.
Yeah, I know. Ask me if I care.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you, Joe. Man, I'm petting my list like, why'd you put yesterday so low, Joe?
CD, brother.
Good. This is going to probably reach you out and smack me on Zoom if they have a Zoom feature. All you need is love / Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Yesterday, all my picks were so far away. Even Joe doesn't like them today.
Sesame Street did a great parody on my number 14, and that was Letter B. So this is Let It Be by the Beatles. So.
Good choice. A song that is still a classic today, still heard today on classic radio. There's a lot of deep cuts that we've been talking about that won't be played on the radio, but Let It Be is played on the radio. Was that video on the top of the roof of Apple, or was that in New York?
It was on the top of the roof of, it wasn't Apple at the time, it was Abbey Road.
Ah, yes. Sorry. Excuse me, Android and Apple iOS fans. So my next pick is something I played trombone to, Michelle, Ma Belle.
They talk about that on the show. They talk about that on the show in depth, and that's very interesting.
Very, very interesting. And once again, Joe and I are talking about McCartney 321 with Paul McCartney and producer Rick Rubin.
My next is George Harrison, outstanding song, fantastic love song, Something.
Shame on you again, my bro Joe.
Too low.
I have that a little bit higher.
Okay.
And also, you guys out there for Something, check it out. Elvis Presley did a cover of Something. And,
really?
And that's where I really fell in love with the song Something from the Beatles. So a great choice, and what a sad demise of George Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah, so, especially when that knucklehead broke into his house.
Yeah. Who was that? Eric Clapton? He was going to steal his wife. Oh, no, it was a different guy.
Yes.
So I go right into, I apologize that All You Need Is Love. And then I have at number 12 is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band.
Sorry. I've got that higher.
Yeah.
My number 12 is Come Together, which you talked about.
Nope. Great song. All these songs that we're talking about, please take a listen to bring back memories, or be like, oh, wow, I forgot about that one. Oh, wow. It rekindles or kindles a memory in your mind.
I thought you talked about that with Aerosmith, because they didn't do Get Back.
Who? What?
I thought you talked about come together earlier because Aerosmith didn't do Get Back.
Oh, no. I wasn't talking about Get Back.
Okay.
Not
Right.
not at all. But great choice. My next one is a little bit controversial, which is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. A lot of people thought it was about LSD. There was a great cover by Elton John.
Yep.
I think it was written for Julian Lennon. There's a lot of questions and a lot of things that you could say about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But once again, what was played on the radio, when it was played on the radio, where you were at that particular time, but Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Great song. I've got that higher.
Ooh.
My number 11 was covered by no, never mind. My number 11's Get Back.
Oh, JoJo was a loner. What is it? JoJo was a man who always was a loner. Bought some California grass. I wonder what that is. So yes. So now what's interesting at my number 10 as we delve into the top 10, it's Twist and Shout. And I think it became bigger to me because it was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Like, now wait a minute. Was that the Beatles version or the Isley Brothers?
Dude, man, I ain't going nobody today but the Beatles.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken,
it was the Beatles in that movie.
Yeah, there was a book called Beatle Proof. And it was there was a book, and he was being interviewed. The author was being interviewed, and I apologize, I don't know the author, by Dick Wolfsey.
Okay.
And they said you could call in, and if you could stump this guy called Beatle Proof, you'd get a free book. So I called him. I said, what was the last top 40 hit that was on the charts from the Beatles? And he couldn't name it. And it was Twist and Shout by the Beatles, which entered the top 40 charts because of its popularity on Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That makes sense.
And they mailed me the book. I don't know what I did with the book. It was a hardcover book. It was a great book. Maybe we need to get that guy on the show and go, let's see if it's still Beatle proof.
I've got a couple Beatles books in storage, but one has the story of every Beatles song and the lyrics behind the songs.
Yeah.
And it's like that. So my number 10 pick, I love this song because it's so loud. Back in the USSR.
You don't know how lucky you are, Joe.
Back in USSR.
Man, what a great tune. What a great beat. What a great sheesh. And look it up. Look up why the title, why the lyrics, who wrote it, listen to the song. What a great tune. What a great tune. Now, as we delve more into the top 10, you're going to probably hate this one, but Blackbird.
I love Blackbird. I don't have it that high.
Do you like listening to it in the dead of night?
I listen to music all the time, but sure, why not? Well, I've got a personal connection with that song. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes, please.
I had three buddies of mine. I had three buddies of mine several years ago when I was in radio. Well, okay, when I was in radio, however long that was. I had three buddies of mine who died at the age of 50. And I went to the funeral of one of my buddies for this, and his daughter played that song on guitar, note for note, from memory. And there is no way I would have been able to pull that off. No way. So every time I hear Blackbird, I think of my buddy Rod Brooks from Anderson, who covered every sports event. He covered every sports event in Anderson, Indiana, and he worked at a radio station in Anderson where his check bounced every week. So yeah, he was a class act.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody would cash his checks. Mine's another.
Don't worry about me. I'm going to step just away to grab a bottle of water. But go ahead, Joe.
Sure. My number 9. My favorite solo artist changed. I used to. So now but now who knows? I mean, they're about the same. But this is a George Harrison pick. The Long and Winding Road.
Wow. And just how, was it the right place at the right time? Were they lucky? Were they talented?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, I think so. And I think both Paul and John were very talented, and what a tragedy in December of 80, I think it was, to lose John. But another podcast for another time of why he's gone, but Paul is still here. And also too, man.
Yeah.
He's worth, Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
$1.2 billion. And he makes $600,000 a year on his YouTube channel alone.
Yeah.
You can send checks to Billy in Houston, Texas, and Joe in Indianapolis, Indiana. Anytime in care of the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. But yeah. And that's another conversation for another day, is the Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney thing. Okay. So Here Comes the Sun. You've already covered it. So at least it's in my top 10.
Yeah. Good song.
Do.
The Beatles haven't had a whole ton of commercials, but when they've had commercials, they've been huge. And this was for sports. It's a Revolution.
Fantastic pick. Nike. Don't get a check from them also, but you can send checks to Billy and care of the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. Man, I think I was working at the Finish Line at the time when they came out with that, and Nike and Nike Air and all that kind of stuff. But it's not the Billy and Joe sing the song show, but
Sure
what a great song. What a great song.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll into something that you've already picked. So at least we're on the same common ground in the top 20 plus one, because, that's just the way the Billy and Joe Top 10 show works, with Joe Carney from Indy's Local Flavor. Look it up. But I have Let It Be, and we'll just leave it there.
Great song.
I thought that was lyrical, by the way.
Yes. McCartney wrote this song because of John's son. And John's son, Julian, was missing his father. And the song's Hey Jude.
Sad to hear you have that so low, Joe. I have that coming. And this is
That's
all 7. This is I have that at number 2, man.
Oh, okay. Great song.
Elvis Presley did a great little rendition of Hey Jude. Oh, actually, let me take that back. Elvis sang Hey Jude. I'm waiting for those CDs or tapes to come out, by the way. Elvis and the Beatles jamming in Bel Air, Texas. I think that is correct, but I'm waiting for those to come out. That'll be fantastic, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue and go deeper. Great choice, by the way. A great video by several different people jamming and playing and singing this song, and rest in peace to a lot of the people that are on it. But While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That's
your number 7.
Come down, Billy Joe. Come down, Billy Squire.
Okay.
You get that higher, like Hey Jude?
Much.
All right, man. So we're gonna give each other Hey Jude and While My Guitar Gently Weeps. What do you think about that? You want to do the little give and take?
Sure. My number 6 is How Does She Make Ends Meet, Lady Madonna.
Oh man. I don't work for Elvis Presley or the Graceland properties, but there is like a 1.5-minute snippet of him singing that song off of the master tapes, I think I can't remember the name of the album, but you can look up Lady Madonna, Elvis Presley, and that's at the very end of the song, he's like, you guys hungry? You guys want to go get something to eat? So it's like making fun of Elvis, but that's a great tune, Joe. Great tune. I didn't even think about putting that on my list.
Yeah, it's on the Blue album.
Well, you're blue because you can't buy me love.
Oh, sure.
Oh, excuse me. Oh,
the-
did I already say? No, wait, hold on. Did I already say
That's
something?
on the Red album. That's on the Red album.
Did I already say something?
Yeah, you said
Something.
No.
You know, the something in the way. So I apologize. That is my number 5. Something. Sorry.
Great song. My number 5, they go into detail on the McCartney special on Hulu with Rick Rubin. Julian Lennon actually drew that in an art class, and Lucy was floating, and Julian put a star over her head in art class. So that's where that came from. Not trying to spoil the show, but yeah, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, number 5.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And what a small little career that Julian Lennon has had.
Yeah.
He had a couple albums where, Velat and Say Goodbye or Don't Say Goodbye, because this is right off the top of my head, because I'm not a Julian Lennon aficionado, which I think his Facebook page comes out of France.
It's Too Late for Goodbye.
Too Late for Goodbyes. Thank you. And wasn't Velat another one?
That was the same album.
Okay. And then he had, I thought was a pretty good first release. I don't know the name of the song of his second release, his second album release.
Yeah.
But Lucy in Sky with Diamonds. That's fantastic. So I apologize for doing the boo-boo, but Can't Buy Me Love.
Okay.
Name of a movie.
Yeah, good movie.
Patrick Dempsey.
Mm-hmm.
80s movie.
Yep.
80s child here, and maybe late 80s, early 90s for you.
I was 80s mostly.
Okay. So, but what look it up. Can't Buy Me Love. Look it up, people, because a lot of this stuff is going to get lost. You need to look up this music by the Beatles. You need to listen to this music by the Beatles, because in my opinion, years and years down the road, this will be treated like classical work.
Yeah, definitely. My number 4, I don't think you talked about this either, is Hello, Goodbye.
No. No, you say hello.
Yeah. Hello.
And I say
goodbye.
Yesterday
Was a famous was such an easy game to play.
Yes. So that is my number 3 is Yesterday, which you had very, very low. Joe, don't mean to rhyme again.
All right. So before I get into number 3, I don't want to get too deep into that, but my aunt from LA in 1964 saw the Beatles live at the Indiana State Fair.
Oh, man.
So She was a huge Beatles fan, and I mean, and I'm not trying to correct you. You know that I don't get into that. But when John Lennon was killed in January of '81, in the Dakota Hotel in Central Park, she cried for a week straight. So she's a huge Beatles person, and she's got a nice collection. So anyway, number 3, I will give you a little spoiler from the Hulu series. McCartney was eating with his roadie, and he said, the roadie said salt and pepper, and he said, and Paul goes, Sergeant Pepper? And he said, no, salt and pepper. So that's where Sergeant Pepper comes from. That's my number 3, Sergeant Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band.
He's like, oh, Sergeant Pepper. Okay, that sounds. I'm gonna use that. Awesome series by Hulu. Is it McCartney 321? Is that the title?
Yeah.
And great. My wife watched. Well, I forced my wife to watch the series with me again, and she. She was like, they went into depth with Beatles and with Paul McCartney and Wings, and she was like, oh, he didn't sing that song. Well, yeah, he did. Oh, wow, really? So there's so much information that comes out from McCartney 321. So much information. Great series, highly recommended.
It's the thing that really threw me for a loop. I consider myself fairly knowledgeable about the Beatles. I don't know every lyric on every little album. I don't have all the records. But when they played the song Waterfalls, I'm like, when Rick Rubin played the song Waterfalls, I'm like, what in the heck is this? So it's a really good song. And I'm like, and it wasn't even on the Spotify Paul McCartney favorite song list. And I'm like, but it was really good.
So we're normally opposite of this. So my number 2 is Hey Jude.
Great song. Love that song.
So, once again, radio play, child born in 67, just a Elvis Presley remade it. Just a great song. I know it's a little bit long, but just brings back a lot of memories, and that may be what music is about. I'm not sure. So, something
that's part of it.
Something that clicks you and you remember, and no pun intended, something. But there's something that you remember about an aunt, an uncle, a mom or dad or a friend, that but Hey Jude's number 2.
Great song. Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and the star of our show today, Prince, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no less. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, George Harrison cover tribute that is made famous. My number 2.
Totally agree with that. Look it up on YouTube, people. It is absolutely, the jam is absolutely awesome. Rest in peace, Prince. Rest in peace, Tom Petty. But you'll weep watching While My Guitar Gently Weeps on YouTube. Trust me, it's a great, great choice, Joe.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And once again, people, look up the Beatles, look up George Harrison, Ringo. We'll talk about Ringo Starr later. Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Just great tunes. So, like I said, this is kind of weird because I'm going to do my number 1 before Joe, and I don't think I've done this. And
it's been a while.
There's been fantastic covers of this song.
Mhm.
It's a very sad song when you think about it. It's a very meaningful song.
Do we have the
Is
same one?
in my life?
No.
In my life.
Great song.
I've loved you more. It was one of those songs covered by Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
covered by Rod
Great.
Stewart. I
Now
just
that's number one in a lot of people's books.
it's just to me, and I'm sorry, people, my headphones are bothering my ear. It's just to me, just I can listen to it over and over and over. It takes you a place. Sometimes you want to go, you know what? I'm not going to listen to music anymore because it makes me sad or it depresses me. But
Yeah.
you've got to continue to listen to music so that you, no pun intended, keep the nostalgia alive, or put a song in the Billy and Joe top 10 show.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised you didn't pick this one, mine. You didn't touch on it at all. It's on the Red album. You ready?
Yep.
Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, no, I had Eleanor Rigby on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, and fantastic song. Fantastic song.
Yeah.
Lyrics, music. What's the song that he says, or both Lennon and McCartney penned, that he got on the bus, had a smoke, got on a bus, do, dragged a comb across my head, do. Well, dun. Oh man.
I hear the song in my head.
Exactly. But what a great list of Beatles songs. Look up the Beatles. Look like John McCartney, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, who got very, very lucky besides being talented, and George Harrison, who stole Eric Clapton's wife. I think also was a wife of Rod Stewart at one time. But we could do a top 20 or 21 or top 10 Billy and Joe top 10 show on Eric Clapton songs.
That's a day in the life, man.
Oh yeah. Oh man, did you cheat or did that come to your mind?
I'm like, and I'm coming to the part where he was at the intersection.
Yes.
I'm like, no, that's the day in the life.
And
that's what you do in the day of the life. You get up out of bed, brush your hair, get ready for the day. Yeah, and smoke them if you got them. Yeah.
Oh man, fabulous. And I think 27 number one hits. I think, if I'm not
mistaken, it's bananas.
What a great band. And like I said, this is Joe Carney from Indy's Local Flavor. I am Billy from Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show. Please go to the Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show on YouTube and subscribe to us. You can go to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook, and also subscribe, follow, whatever you call that nowadays. I think it's at the Billy and Joe Top 10 show also. So please mention us or talk about us. But Joe, any closing thoughts? Or, there's so many songs that we missed, but this is what we do, and this is what this is all about.
Yeah, I have a final question for you. You can ask the same of me. How did you discover the Beatles?
I know this is going to sound really jacked up, but WIBC.
Oh, okay.
It was they at one time on their platform, I think they played music, and it could have been WIFE, but it's something that I had turned on underneath my pillow just so I could hear it in my ear without having those with that great headphones that we have today. But if I'm not mistaken, it was WIBC that our wife WNAP, but I think it's pretty much WIBC, which by the way, we're going to have a interview with Paul Page coming
Great.
up on Monday, and
Great.
his new book, which I can't come up with the title right now, but that's and where did you first? I'm assuming maybe your mom or your aunt. Oh, and tell me about the story in Los Angeles.
I did. I didn't want to get too much in detail, but that she's the one who went to the Beatles concert at the State Fair in '64. So, but yeah, she's got a nice collection of Beatles stuff.
What you got coming up next on your show, Joe?
Before I get into that, it was really strange with my mom and dad because they didn't really have any musical influences that they played except the local radio. So I really didn't get into the Beatles until I started playing music through Junior Achievement when I was in high school. And that's when I discovered the Beatles. And then I really got into the Beatles when I started playing them every week at the student-run radio station, Cardinal Radio, WCRD there in Muncie. So next week, I've been Ellen, as the Beastie Boys would say. So I'm going to be back next week with my co-host. We're going to talk fantasy football big time. Going to talk the Colts majorly. And then probably we're going to talk about Black Widow a little bit. And I'm sure McCartney will come up. And starting to get ready for football season.
Michelle Mabel by the Beatles, we played in middle school, which is IPS number 59, Merle Snyder. And Mr. Hungerford was my music teacher, and I played trombone. But the Michelle Mabel comes to my mind at first, but Mr. Hungerford, rest in peace. And I apologize for really, really testing your nerves with my friend Kyle. I got my hair yanked by Mr. Hungerford, but we played Michelle Mabel, and that's another introduction or another indention of, listen to the Beatles or go buy a different album or, go through the catalog or see if your mom and dad have any, but another great influence.
What's your favorite Beatles album?
If you had to put it in front of me and I had to display it, it'd be the White Album.
That's a great album. Mine's Sgt. Pepper.
We didn't say Helter Skelter. There's there's Rocky the Raccoon.
Yep.
No, is it Rocky the Raccoon?
Yes. Yeah.
It comes in. Rocky came in smelling of gin. See, and this is just off the cuff. But Joe, everybody, subscribe to the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, Keeping Nostalgia Live show. And Joe, we will keep them kind of hush hush on our next topic.
Sounds good.
Okay, check out Joe Carney on Indie's Local Flavor. Guys, we'll see you next week or the following week. We thank you for your patronage and watching us.
Thanks for having us.